What is up everyone, Hero276 here, and welcome to today's video and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at a fun team featuring Whimsicott, NIDOKING, and Magcargo in the Sunshine Cup. Some of these picks are very unconventional. As you can see, a lot of the meta revolves around Noctowl and Vigoroth. This team is able to handily beat both of these Pokemon in given shield situations, and I found myself winning with it quite frequently, especially when given a Noctowl and Vigoroth oriented team. That being said, before we hop into today's video, if you like the music used in this video and other videos, please be sure to consult my Spotify page where you'll have access to all of my music. You can buy both of my albums there for just $4.99 each, and I'll have a new release in the next month. That being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let's dive into these battles. Alright, and we're going to hop into the first battle, picking up a lead, Whimsicott into Pidgeot. Pidgeot is commonly paired with Vigoroth, so I'm anticipating that there's one in the back. Opponent is going to stay in, recognizing that this is a semi-decent matchup for them. I'm just going to call the Feather Dance here. Feather Dance is going to land, not do a ton of damage. Now I'm going to go for the Sludge Wave, but it appears that they've caught the Sludge Wave onto a Vigoroth, and that still does over half their health, so even double debuffed, that still does a lot of damage. At this point, I'm just going to let the NIDOKING go down, and I'm going to bring in the Whimsicott after waiting my switch clock. So I'm going to let it get all the way down to the 0, bring in the Whimsicott, and look for a massive overfarm here to get some stored energy. Now, I'm not going to be shielding a thing here given that they have Pidgeot in the back. I'm just going to hope and pray that they're double weak to Magcargo. I'm going to throw the Grass Knot here on the CMP tie. This will get rid of the Vigoroth unless they decide to shield it. They shield it up. They're going to throw the Body Slam, but I'm not going to commit any shields here. I'm just going to take my shield and come in with the Magcargo. Magcargo has a shield advantage for whatever is in the back, but it takes a lot of counter damage. In the back, they have a Galarian Stunfisk, and this is kind of unfortunate here. I'm going to go for a Rock Tomb bait, really hoping for the shield here. Opponent doesn't give it to me, and this game is likely over. Unfortunately, even though their attack is debuffed, and Magcargo has great matchups in the back, Galarian Stunfisk just outputs so much energy in such a short amount of time that I'm just not going to be able to reach the moves necessary. So now I'm going to go for the Rock Tomb. Hopefully I can grab a shield, but I just don't think I have enough energy to be able to win this game. Rock Tomb does grab a shield, but they're already at the next Rock Slide. Magcargo is low enough that even though this is double debuffed, this will KO, and we lose the opener. Hopping into game number 2, picking up a lead up against Obstagoon. This is very good. Opponent's going to save switch into an Excadrill, and I respond here with NIDOKING. NIDOKING does get in a free double kick as my opponent threw on alignment. I'm going to shield up the Drill Run. I'm going to look to go for the Earth Power just before they get to their next Drill Run. This will likely force a shield from Excadrill if they want to make a play for switch. Then I'm going to try to throw the double kick. Opponent throws straight away, meaning they threw on alignment. So this means I can shield up, and with the double shield, now I can commit to the full double kick farm down and leave with some residual energy. Obstagoon comes back in. I'm going to go for the Earth Power here. Earth Power will do some solid damage. Obstagoon decides to shield it up, and these double kicks are hitting for double super effective, so they're going to have to throw in order to take me out. Otherwise, I would have gotten the farm down. Night Slash takes me out. In comes Whimsicott. They have Noctowl in the back, and no one-shielded Noctowl can hide from the power of Magcargo. Magcargo can easily body a Shadow Ball here. I'm going to overfarm before going for the Rock Tomb. This will lower their attack by 1 stage. The Noctowl is going to shield it up, and now I'm going to try to reach another Noctoom, but they have another move stored. At this point, this is debuffed. I should be able to survive it just barely and get off another Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb here will do some solid damage onto the Noctowl. I'm not quite able to incinerate down. I bring in the Whimsicott. I have to reach the Grass Knot, but my opponent catches it onto Obstagoon. What a great play. And now Noctowl is going to be able to reach a Sky Attack versus my Whimsicott. The question is, can Whimsicott hang on? Whimsicott is able to body the Sky Attack and Fairy Wind farm down for the win. Hopping into game number 3, picking up another very good lead into Shadow Swampert. My opponent will be safe switching out of here into a Jumpluff, and I respond immediately with the NIDOKING. NIDOKING is going to farm up to the Sludge Wave, but not before Jumpluff is able to reach a move. NIDOKING is going to shield it up since it's quite glassy. Unfortunately, they just go for the Energy Ball, so that's actually a move that we could have lived. I'm now going to go for the Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave here grabs a shield from the Jumpluff, and now I'm anticipating that they're going to go for another energy ball, so I'm just going to let this go through. Energy ball, we can survive that quite comfortably, and go for the next sludge wave. Sludge wave here will probably force my opponent's second shield because they want to maintain alignment, but that's totally okay by me. I'll take my shield advantage, come in with Magcargo, and shield nothing in this matchup. Magcargo will be able to sponge Jumpluff's energy. It doesn't hit very hard, and Magcargo is quite tanky. So I'm going to farm up a bunch of energy here. Unfortunately, they throw on very good timing, denying me an Incinerate. I'm going to overfarm since they just threw, so they're probably energy dry at this point, and then go for the overheat. Wasn't sure if Rock Tomb could cut it, so I go for the nuke that I know will KO. They let it go through. In comes the Swampert. Swampert's overfarming, and they enable me to get to a Grass Knot. This will be bye-bye, Swampert. Get out of here. And then, in the back, they have Talonflame. This is really bad, because my Magcargo, which is basically my only counter to Talonflame, is nearly dead. However, Moonblast, as you can see, 2 shots. And we still have a shield here. So, there might be a chance that we can reach another Moonblast, and that'll take out the Trevenant. And we reach the Moonblast. This will KO the Trevenant, and we just beat a Fire and Flying type with a Fairy and Grass type. Hopping into game number 4, picking up an ideal lead up against Vigoroth. We are resisting the counters in this matchup, so this is probably where we want to see it. Either that or onto Nidoking, so I'm just going to let the body slams here go through. They won't do too much damage, but over time they will start to add up. On this next play, I'm going to go for a CMP tie here on the Grass Knot. Grass Knot here should do some nice damage if my opponent lets it go through, and they do. And now, I'm going to try to make a play for Switch. Opponent is going to throw the body slam, but I am going to shield it up. And from here, I'm going to store all of this energy and catch the body slam onto Nidoking. Nidoking will absorb the energy. Not that well, but it still will. Nidoking is able to force out an Obstagoon. And this is quite nice. I'm just going to let this move go through. The double kicks do nice damage, and we could survive the Night Slash, but not well enough to be able to reach the Earth Power. That's quite unfortunate. So I'm going to bring in the Whimsicott. Whimsicott does have stored energy. I'm going to go for the Grass Knot, just to hopefully force a shield from my opponent. Opponent lets it go through, and it KOs anyway. They have Noctowl in the back, and Noctowl is not safe up against Magcargo, even with a shield advantage. They actually shield up the Moonblast, so I immediately pivot into the Magcargo. Magcargo here is going to let the first move go through. It's a Shadow Ball, and this is kind of a misplay, honestly, as their future moves would be doing less and less damage with the Rock Tombs. They try to catch onto Vigoroth, but I'm able to farm down. Noctowl is going to shield up the Rock Tomb, and this is honestly getting a little bit dicey. I'm hoping from here I will be able to survive the next couple of moves and incinerate down. Wing attacks are not doing much damage, but they're able to make another move. Now it's just going to be a race from this point. Am I able to reach the overheat? I am, and even though this is only neutral damage, this is range where Noctowl will get KO'd, and we take the win. Hopping into game number 5, picking up a lead up against Hisuian Electrode. This is a very nice matchup for Whimsicott, as we resist both of their stabs, both Wild Charge and Energy Ball. So now I'm going to go for the Moonblast, and I envision that they're going to go for the back-to-back Wild Charges as soon as they get there. So right when they reach it, I'm going to switch and catch onto Nidoking. Is this the Wild Charge? It is. That's double resisted. Opponent's now going to send in a Vigoroth. They're clearly lacking a Nidoking response. My opponent surrenders, and that is game, set, and match. And now in this set, we were able to go 4-1, which is quite nice. Skarmory as the rewards encounter, but do not go anywhere because we have 2 bonus battles for you today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hopping into the first of 2 bonus battles, picking up a lead up against Pidgeot. We've seen this before. We're going to pivot into Nidoking, and my opponent switches out into a Galarian Stunfisk. This is flippable. Going to go for the Earth Power. Earth Power will force a shield from the Galarian Stunfisk, and it gets the defense drop, which is quite nice. Opponent has enough for the Earthquake, so I'm going to commit the shield. Unfortunately, just a Rock Slide bait. However, I should be able to reach the Earth Power just before they would reach the Earthquake. If my opponent lets this go through, we will maintain Switch advantage. Get out of here, Galarian Stunfisk. And we maintain Switch. Opponent's going to send back in Pidgeot, but I'm not able to reach the Sludge Wave, but that's okay. I still have Magcargo, which is a fantastic response for the Pidgeot. I'm going to wait out my Switch timer just a little bit, and now send in the Magcargo. Magcargo sneaks in a full Incinerate worth of energy. Pidgeot Brave Birds, and I anticipate the dip, so I immediately bring in the Whimsicott, and in the back there's Vigoroth. Whimsicott here in quite a comfortable matchup. Unfortunately, these body slams will start to add up, but I will be able to output tremendous damage here with the Moonblast on the CMP tie. This will either force the shield or allow Magcargo to farm down with Incinerates. My opponent doesn't want the farm down, so they commit their shield, and now I'm going to shield in return. I should be able to make it to another Moonblast on the CMP tie again. This will get the Vigoroth quite low, and from this point, I should be able to Incinerate down and only take a couple counters worth of damage. Opponent is going to take out the Whimsicott, but in comes Magcargo. We only take 2 counters, we KO, and go for the Overheat. Overheat actually does more raw damage compared to a super effective Rock Tomb. Crazy, I know, but either way it KOs, and we take the win. Hopping into the final bonus game, leading into Noctowl, I'm going to immediately save switch into Nidoking, and my opponent is staying in this matchup. They know it's quite good for them, but I'm just going to let this move go through here, fully sack the Nidoking. But then my opponent comes in with an Obstagoon, and I'm going to go for the Sludge Wave here. Sludge Wave will do big damage if it lands. Obstagoon gets nearly one shot, and we're able to double kick farm down, and somehow maintain alignment. Opponent is going to send back in the Noctowl, and Magcargo can come in here, not even hesitating to bring it in, as this is a lockdown matchup for Magcargo. Magcargo will shield up the Shadow Ball, as we are going to go for a Rock Tomb to lower their attack, so this time I make that correct play. Opponent shields up my Rock Tomb in return. They must not have a good response to Magcargo in the back, so I'm just going to let this move go through. They go for the Shadow Ball. We are able to body it. They come in with Vigoroth. I was wrong. But either way, we can bring in the Whimsicott here. It has quite a bit of play up against the Vigoroth. Vigoroth is going to go for a Body Slam, but I'm not phased. I'm going to throw the Moonblast here on the CMP tie, denying the Vigoroth the opportunity to throw the Body Slam before I get off the Moonblast. And that actually does some very nice damage onto the Vigoroth. So from here, I either have 2 options. Let the Whimsicott go down and trust in Magcargo, or shield up, go for an aggressive Fairy Wind farm down, but I'm not able to get it. And now it's all up to Magcargo. Magcargo here is going to Incinerate down, take a couple of counters, and this is scary. Does my opponent reach a move before I'm able to get to 2 Rock Tombs? Opponent shields up the first Rock Tomb, but we're able to make it to a second. This will KO the Noctowl and give us the win. Overall, this team was a blast to use, and I had a ton of fun using it. And in the end, I ended up going positive. Even though these picks are quite unconventional, and the leads were sometimes a bit tricky, we're able to win the close games and go positive. In other news, I'm considering doing a live stream now that summer is upon us, so please answer the poll as to whether or not you would be interested in joining. The poll will be available tomorrow night. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.